How can you manage when you're having a bad day? I make videos for managers on tips of talking to your team and role plays. But this video is for you, whether you manage people or you don't manage anybody. Because sometimes your question might be, how can I work when I'm having a bad day? Or how can I take a bad day and turn it into a better one? Now, I've made a video previously on why that matters. As a manager in particular, but no matter what your role is at work, the way you work can impact other people. If you're short with someone on an email, you're frustrated, you take things out on other people, that can have ripple effects way longer than that interaction. It can really stick with people, especially as a manager, but even as a coworker or customer or anyone you come across. And so I've had a video on a reaction, which may be internally how you feel, to how you respond. But what I'm talking about today is how you can help your mindset for yourself. And I'm not talking about times when you're like, I cannot face the day, and you need more things like professional level help. But instead, things like a pick-me-up. If you're coming back from a holiday, a vacation, or something happens and you're just frustrated, how can you get that kind of pick-me-up? In this video, I'll talk about 3 different ways. Because I spent a lot of time and energy, especially in my career, thinking about and wishing that things were different. If I were coming back from a holiday, then I may be fixated on the past. Like, oh, I wish that I could go back to a week ago and relive that vacation. Or, oh, this wasn't what I wanted. I wish I could relive the vacation from 3 years ago. It was so good. Or this experience at work I had was so great. I'd do anything to go back there. But often, you can't put yourself back in that position. Or if you did, it wouldn't be the same. Likewise, I'd be fixated on how I wished things were. Like, oh, I remember very specifically. I grew up in Louisville, but I was living in Atlanta with my family. We were moving back to Louisville to have more support. We had 2 young kids. And one day, it was a Monday, around 10:30, and we were out with our realtor looking for houses. I'd taken the day off work in Atlanta because we were in Louisville. And we passed by a park, and there was like a group exercise class. And I remember thinking the same question that I've had in my mind for about 10 years since, which is, how are these people all working out at 10:30 on a Monday? And what would I do? And how would my life be if I could do that? Now, I don't know what those people did because I never went to that exercise class. I did make up very real characteristics of who they were in my mind. But thinking about the same things you might have. Maybe they're a server. They work on the weekends. Monday's their off day. They're going back to work. So this is like their weekend. Or maybe they take the time off work. They start early. All sorts of reasons. Maybe they are a stay-at-home person and all of those things. But the reality is, before and after that 45-minute or 1-hour workout class, they likely face all the same challenges that all of us do in our lives. Challenges at work, challenges in things in life, the realities of things, people getting sick, things coming up. All of those things are ones that we experience. And so often, I'd spent so much time and energy fixating on wishing things would be different. Again, either reliving experiences, reliving them differently, thinking about what would happen if I had different aspects of life or a different career. But you may have gotten into a career and were so excited to post it on LinkedIn, but all of a sudden, that realities of that new job were completely different than you expected. And so whether you're coming back from a vacation or holiday or something comes up or you're stuck in this period of life where you're like, things are just not what I'd like, it can be helpful to have pick-me-ups. So 3 things that have been helpful that can transform your mindset, whether it's for a short period of time or longer. The first is just writing things down. And yes, it's simple. But when you think intentionally about what you're grateful for or the things that are good at work and in life, that has been shown to actually change your mindset overall. Because so often we get caught up in the negative thoughts. I wish things were different. I wish things were like that. I'm so frustrated. This is going to last forever. And thinking about the positive aspects. So thinking about the things right now that you are grateful for. Also writing down things that have happened in the past that you thought would be the worst things ever. But what you learned from them. Maybe it's a job that you felt that you were stuck in and never going to escape. And thinking about how you did escape it or what you're doing now and the lessons that you took away from that. That maybe you wouldn't want to repeat it and would not want to go back and relive that period, but that it changed you or shaped you or you're a better professional because you lived through that. So thinking about that as well. So things you're thankful for, things that you enjoy, also those experiences that seemed so overwhelming. It can also be helpful to think about the realities. If you're fixated on something else, like, oh, I'd love to go back in time. Well, what are the realities that would be like today? Like last week, I was with my family. We went to Universal Studios for the first time ever. And earlier I kept thinking like, oh, it was so great. My son and I read Harry Potter. It felt so magical. Gosh, if I was there, we'd be zipping through the lines because it's not Thanksgiving week. So I pulled up the Universal Studios app and was looking at the wait times because I was very busy. And so you'll find yourself, that's the time that we all procrastinate, right? But I was looking at it. The wait times were not just as long as we had last week, but 15 minutes longer. So of course I'm wondering like, wow, that's wild. Last week was the holiday week. I wonder what's going on. But the real thought was, I had envisioned in my mind things would be totally different if I could take myself back on vacation. But that wasn't the case at all. I've been standing in line, dragging just like I was a bit last week. And so thinking of those, the realities, and finishing up, again, looking at that, the things that you have going on that you are thankful for, that you enjoy, things that you really appreciate about yourself. And it's often not an easy exercise. Like I'm not someone that's historically been like a meditation person, but writing some of those things down can be a really healthy exercise and give you that boost of energy. The second is to have a network of people you can reach out to. So whether that's friends, family members, reaching out to people for two things. One is the people you can be honest with, to say, I'm having a tough day. What do you like to do to pick me up? Or I'd just love to know something that you see in me that I may not see in myself, depending on your familiarity and your comfort with people. Other things to look to people of, if you're having a bad day, what do you do for a pick-me-up? Because oftentimes we look to other people as like someone's social media posts, that trip looks amazing. They get a promotion. Oh my gosh, they have it all together. But rather than look to others as sources of like envy and they make us feel worse about themselves, looking to them to inspiration and ideas and support. So what do you do? So when you have that group, again, at work or in the rest of life, it can be helpful to have other people you can bounce ideas off of. And if you're like, oh, I'm really kind of drawing a blank of who I'd want to reach out to right now, that's okay. Because there are resources, like literally a use of ChatGPT, which if you've used ChatGPT, again, you can go to chatgpt.com. And as you do things like prompts, ChatGPT, for better or for worse, can get a sense of who you are. And so one prompt you can write in is, what is something I should be grateful for that I may not see about myself right now? Or things like, what are things I should appreciate? And it can list out things, and especially as it's seen your prompts and seen the way you work, ChatGPT has an unusual ability to see things about yourself and articulate them in a way that you almost never could see. And so again, just in that moment of that quick pick-me-up, trying any of those three things, whether it's writing things down for yourself, it's reaching out to others to get that level of support, or even things like a ChatGPT prompt, those are things that can help you in that moment. Because oftentimes you may be swirling and thinking so much about things that you cannot control. And so focusing more on the things you can, and that at any moment there are aspects of your mindset that you can change. That can be a tool that can help you as a manager and help you to show up in the way that you want to for your team and that they deserve, but also for yourself to help to change over time, because developing things like that mindset doesn't happen overnight, but there are ways that you can change it right in the moment.